Today we're making creme brulee, and the macros for today are 506 calories per portion, 6 grams of proteins, 16 grams of carbs and 50 grams of fat. This is super simple to make, it just takes some time. What we want to do is we want to take 5 deciliters of cream or 500 grams and 1 deciliter of milk. And then we want to get 2 vanilla rods that we're going to cut the ends off of. Then we're going to split them in half and scrape the vanilla seeds out. And from that we're going to add those to our milk and cream mixture. Then we're going to put that on the stove and bring it up to a boil. And we're going to start out occasionally so everything's mixed together. And then we're going to place that in a container, let it cool down and put it in the fridge overnight. Just before you switch container, make sure that you stir a couple of times because some of those vanilla seeds might have sunken to the bottom and you want as much of those with you as possible. So in the fridge overnight, and next day we're going to measure out 90 grams of sugar. And we're going to measure out 100 grams of egg yolks and 25 egg whites. That's roughly, for me that turned out to be 4 egg yolks and 1 whole egg. And to that we're going to add our cream and milk mixture. We're going to save this because when we scraped the vanilla rods earlier, you might have gotten some of the actual stems with you, and those are brown bits, and those are not that fun to get in your mouth. So we want those removed, but we want to push as much of the vanilla seeds through as possible. So try to push those through, and as you can see we got in some of those brown bits from the vanilla rods in there. And those we don't want in our mixture. Then whisk that together, put in the sugar and whisk it all. Keep whisking until we feel that our sugar is dissolved and you can't feel any sugar crystals with your whisk. And it's not more difficult than that. We want to put something that we can place water in the oven because we're going to use some water to create steam later on, just to keep a skin from forming on the top of our creme brulee. And then we want to put the oven to 100 degrees. So I'm going to boil some water that I'm just going to pour in the pan later on. That's going to create our steam. Unfortunately I used too little water, so I iron out and still get a skin later on, but turned out fine anyway. These are the measurements for the bowls I'm using. So roughly 10 centimeters wide and 2 tall. And this is for 6 portions. In the description as usual there's a spreadsheet where you can change the serving sizes. So if you just want to make 3, just type in 3 and it will print how much you need of all of the ingredients. And it's not more difficult than that. Now these go in the oven, and since we're cooking them at 100 degrees it's going to take quite some time for them to finish. So for me it took roughly 2 hours and 45 minutes. But first of all we're going to add our water to create our steam. Just pour that into something. I should have used all of the water, I did not. We're just going to place these in the oven, and just be careful so you don't burn yourself, since the oven is hot but not super hot. And as I said, we're using low temperature. First I would check these every hour, but the first hour they're not going to be done. So this is at an hour. And as you can see, they are not even close to done. They will firm up a bit in the fridge, but not that much. Here we are at 2 hours. And it's better, but still not good. And this is almost 45 minutes later. And now we're getting there. They're sort of firm, and they will firm up enough in the fridge later on to be perfect. As you can see, they're a bit jiggly, but they will firm up in the fridge later on. Now the last step is to pour our sugar on the top, and I use 7 grams of sugar for this, which I think is enough. And I use the low setting on the burner because if you use too much flame here, it's very easy to burn the sugar, and that doesn't taste that nice. So I think it's much easier and better to go slow. And you can see that the sugar is boiling on the top, which is exactly what we want. And it's not more difficult than that. It's actually really easy. It's just a bit time consuming. So I hope you try this. It's one of my favorite desserts. I hope you try it, and I hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching.